Okay, attention, top. Kyung-yi. Okay, we're going to drop onto another technique. Stepping backwards now, knife hand garden block. Hana. So I've got one of my students here. I'm going to pick on him because I can do with adjusting what he's doing there. Keep going, Neil. Can you all see Neil? Yes. Right. So Neil is performing a knife hand garden block, and he's bringing the hands across the body. Across the body. Somebody told me off the other day for saying across. It's across the body. Right. All right. Let's go back. Let's come back to me because I'm going to go through that. Right. Come in a bit closer so you can just see what I'm doing. So we've just been talking about inner forearm application and outer forearm application. Outer forearm application does what? It extends the elbow, travels away from your body. It's designed to do that if you have your hands up. If your hands are down, obviously it's just going to drop. But if you have your hands up in a defense, in a reactive position, extending the elbow moves away from you. So we need to make good use of that. We use the triceps. And when we do that, let's think about this knife hand garden block now. So I've seen Neil doing this. Okay, he's coming across. Okay, now the reason why he does that, because he watches, he goes through all the tournaments, he loves the tournaments, and he watches a lot of people, and he sees them do their patterns this way here. Okay, with nice straight fingertips as well. We'll get onto that in a minute if we need to. Okay, so in a tournament, it looks good, it's clean, it expresses the technique, and I'll say to my guys, if you're going to go to a tournament, watch the judges, get on the mat, see what they're scoring. If they're liking big movement, then you've got to adjust and do big movement. If they like short, powerful movements, then you've got to adjust and do short, powerful movements. But in this case here, if we've just established this outer forearm comes from quite close, then bring it in. It's no different than doing a middle knife hand block. Okay? You wouldn't do a middle knife hand block from out here. Okay? It wouldn't be done. A reverse, because now you're flexing, makes sense. Okay? In Jung-gun, now we're flexing here, makes sense to bring it out because we're bringing it across the body. We're not traveling away. So with a knife hand garden block, keep this front hand in. Back hand is dropping down in this guard. Okay? And you'll see a lot of people do it from quite far behind them. Let me get into a position where you can see. Okay, so it's not this position here, hands are out. Okay, I like to see hand in, and equally this backhand. Okay, if you bring this backhand in from behind you, both hands are traveling in a rotational manner. That's great when you want to generate a lot of force and a lot of power. We have that with a double forearm block. Okay, we're pulling the hands in. This is a big technique. This is a technique that's going to be knocking something that's hard and powerful. But with a knife hand guarding block, it's not really designed to be a big, powerful block. So, what I want you to do is I want you to just think about it like it's a close chamber, extending out knife hand. It's an outward traveling technique. The backhand, bring that forward a bit now. Pull this backwards into the guard. So now, you're almost in a chamber. Okay, from the side you can't see it so obviously. From the front, sorry, you can't see it so obviously. From the side, my hand is forward, coming back into me. My attacking hand, my primary hand, is coming from a close position outwards. So now I'm stepping forward in this fashion here. Okay, now what that does, it balances the body. For those of you suited and booted, what I want you to do, I want you to just step forwards and do a big swing with the hands. I want you to feel, I can really feel it with a bad back, so I want you to feel the torque and rotation in the back, okay? So do this, lots of swing, lots of power, let it go out wide, carry on, and then change it, and do it like it's a middle outer forearm, a middle knife hand block. And bring the other hand, don't make it an obvious cross, but just let the other hand come back to guard, rather than swing forwards with it. Have a few goes. Keep going. And then what you will feel, just coming back to gallery view here, what you will feel is your body will not be straining when you bring your backhand forward a bit, and you bring your close hand in tight. You won't feel any lower torso strain. And like I said, the time we want to do that is a double forearm block. That's a big, powerful block. That's where we want to do that. And in that case, we use the other hand to reinforce it, just to make sure that it works. So those are okay to have a big swing. But a knife hand guarding block, it doesn't need a big swing. Let me explain something else about that as well. Instructors, you will appreciate this. When you're watching, I'll do this from the side. When you watch and you step forwards and do the technique, I'm going to exaggerate now what happens. Okay, this back knee. How many of you instructors have seen students when they do a knife hand guarding block, the back knee collapses in? It's collapsing in because there's so much rotational force that they are fighting. The knee has to come forward to compensate for that. So it's not a bad habit that they're performing. Well, sorry, it is a bad habit they're performing, but the body's natural desire is to bring this knee forward to help combat this over-rotation. Okay? So to remove this as a problem, if you have a student where the back knee is collapsing in, look at the rotational swing in the body, and I guarantee you there'll be lots of wide rotational movement. Okay? Take that out by bringing the hands to work in a slightly opposite direction to neutralize that, so when you're stepping forwards, then you don't have that need for that back knee to drop and collapse in. So that's a quick fix for people that have a bad back knee. Okay, forwards a few more. Hana. The thumbs. What do we do with the thumbs? Are they tucked in? Okay, Tencho. Tencho tucking in. Good. Just come in a little bit. This is a little bugbear of mine, so we'll go through it. Knife hand position. Again, if you go around tournaments and you look, in fact, let me bring him to the forefront, because this man's patterns is just fantastic. There you go. Right. Okay. So, Master Shepherd, just show me your straight-fingered knife hand position, please, in a knife hand guarding block. Okay. So, you see the knife hands, they're really straight, they're really lined, they create a nice form from the fingertip right down to the elbow. Thank you, sir, appreciate that. Right, that is a typical way of performing a knife hand guarding block if you want to be, as he is, a world champion many times over. Because it looks nice, it looks clean, it's all nice clean lines. Okay, it just looks clean. When you start creating these funny knife hand positions, you start curling up fingers, your thumb starts curling in, it just looks ugly. And I can remember going back to a good friend of mine and my instructor, Ray Smithers, who was another one of those super technical champions. He always liked to see clean lines, clean straight lines. However, let's talk about that knife hand. That clean line, okay, the clean line we see here is, as you can see, tidy. You bring the three fingers together, okay, you bring them up to the forefinger, keep the forefinger locked straight, okay, tuck that thumb in, don't let your thumb tuck out. A lot of people have that thumb tucked out. The only time the thumb goes outwards is when your thumb is against your hand, but you turn the thumb point outwards. Okay, that's another session, but it's a very good guide application for getting in and striking into the neck. We'll worry about that another time. This is tucked into the hand. The forefinger is locked straight. The other fingers are brought in line, so you create a nice straight line with those fingers. I have a really bad habit. My students tell me I do that all the time. I do. You've got to keep these fingers locked in tight. You don't want to get them caught in a suit, because it will, excuse me, it will cause you some problems. But the question is, well, why do you want to do that? I appreciate that when you're striking a solar plexus, or you're going into the throat or the epigastrium or something like that. That's great. You know, it's designed to work against the fibers of the cartilages of the neck when you go flat, the abdominal strains of the muscle when you go vertical, and the epigastrium when you go horizontal. So that makes perfect sense. But why do you do it when you're blocking? You don't need to do it when you're blocking. For those of you that know that you've been breaking a lot, you've been doing bricks and blocks and whatever else, I can tell you, if you have your fingers in a perfectly straight line and you do a knife hand strike through a brick or a block, or 3 or 4 inches of wood or whatever it is you do, your finger knuckles will clang together and it will be incredibly painful. So here's the example. Put your fingers flat like this for me now, and I want you just to grab either side of your fingers and keep your fingers in a straight line. I want you to squeeze them together and just get a sense of what that feels like. Once you've done that, then adopt the knife hand position where the 3 fingers are in line, the front finger is locked straight, thumb tucked in. Now get hold of the fingers and squeeze. And you will feel no knuckle bashing whatsoever. So whilst I like to see these practitioners, and Master Shepherd, we've got Katie on here as well, she's another one, does the patterns, they're very nice. They look good, look clean lines, and they look great on a mat for competition. They're not very practical, so it's a bad habit to get into if you're going to start executing knife hand strikes. So we'll leave that where it is, but that's the point. So tuck that thumb in, get your 3 fingers in line, your first finger nice and locked tight. There's your knife hand, whatever it is. Unless you're in a competition, open them up, straighten them out, look nice, look pretty, straight, elegant lines, and it works well for tournaments. Good. Okay. Chumbi.